Hello everyone and welcome back. I'm Captain Foley and it is time for another Is It Worth It video. I've done some of these before on the channel. I actually did one for the Playmobil TOS Enterprise, so if you haven't seen that, go check it out. I also did a review of the product in hand after they sent me one, just to kind of compare and see where my initial thoughts were compared to the final product. So go check those out. I'll link those in the description below. But today we're looking at the Klingon Bird of Prey from Playmobil that is coming out in December of this year, 2022. And we're going to look at all the accessories, everything that is included with it, and kind of determine whether it's worth the cost. Now I should point out, to start off, the cost for this one is $299.99 US and $399.99 Canadian. So right away there's a lot of sticker shock perhaps with the cost, but we're going to look at it and see if it's worth it, if it's justified for that amount, and move on from there. Like I said, I did do the Enterprise one. I thought it was a little overpriced for what we were getting, and it seems like I might have been right. I did get it in hand, I reviewed it, was quite impressed with it, more so than I thought I would have been. However, I still thought it was a little overpriced. Since then, since it first came out, they weren't selling as good, I don't think, so they have reduced the price of that quite a bit. So we're going to take a look at this one and see where it stands up with that. We're going to take a look at all the accessories, all the functions of it, and just kind of make you guys, you know, aware of what's going on with it and whether you think it's worth the cost of it. I'll give my determination at the end, but we're going to take a look at it right now and see what's going on. We're just going to kind of read the write-up that they have on the website so you guys get a feel for what it's all about and what's going on with it. I'm going to take a look at some pictures, going to talk about the accessories and all the features and functions that it has. So buckle up and get ready to engage that cloak as we're looking at the Klingon Bird of Prey from Playmobil. Alright, now going to their website, this is the write-up that they have for this one. With Playmobil's new Star Trek ship, Commander Kroog's Klingon Bird of Prey, Star Trek fans can travel to different worlds in the Federation, the Klingon Empire, or even the Genesis planet. Playmobil's Bird of Prey, with lights and original sound, is based on the movie from the 80s, Star Trek III: The Search for Spock, and expands the Playmobil Star Trek universe. Explore the legendary starship with many mechanical and electrical functions, and meet one of the most notorious Klingons, Commander Kroog. Kroog's crew, Admiral Kirk, and Mr. Spock, as well as the planet Genesis, are also included in this playset. They include a whole planet. Well, actually, it's just a base. It's just a couple of rock formations with some lava, and we're going to look at that in a minute, but that was surprising to read that. So they include the Genesis planet, guys. That's pretty awesome. There you go. It's worth the price. For $300, that's a steal. You get the ship and the planet it can orbit. It must be huge. Anyway, moving on. The roof of the bridge is removable, and there is room for 2 figures inside thanks to the adjustable seat. Light and sound effects from the film provide an authentic Star Trek feeling. Use the 4 colored buttons on the ship's hull to trigger a variety of sound effects, including ambient mode, firing sequence, an assortment of Klingon phrases, and warp mode. Furthermore, interchangeable slides inserted into the cockpit display trigger a variety of corresponding light and sound effect sequences. So they have different view screen monitors, essentially. There's 4 of them. There's the Enterprise, the Grissom, Kirk, and another one, which we'll get into in a second. But they're coded, so when you put them in, you get different sound effects and different audio clips and stuff as well, which is kind of a neat idea, so I like that, for sure. But we're going to take a look at more of those things in just a second, so stay tuned. Stage the iconic battle between the USS Enterprise and the Klingon commander over the Genesis planet, or set off on all new space adventures. The wings can be simultaneously moved into 3 different positions, and each are outfitted with functioning cannons, bringing the action to life. For collectors looking to showcase rather than play, use the included pedestal or hanging system to display this piece in a spot of honor. Recommended for fans 10 years and up. So there you go, guys. They're not only hitting the collector market, but they're also hitting the play market, which was one of my beefs that I had with the TOS Enterprise, because $600 for a collectible, I mean, not everybody's going to pay that. And considering how wonky the proportions looked on the saucer and stuff, because it was a Playmobil one, I didn't think collectors were going to quite go for that. Most collectors anyway, because it's a little bit too pricey. As for a toy for $600 that you're going to let your kids play with, again, that's a very small market. So this one seems a little bit better proportion-wise and stuff, so it does kind of look a little bit better, I think, but we'll see. So now we're going to get into everything that's included with this set, so you can get a feel for all of the, where your money's going, all the little accessories. We got one Klingon Commander Krug, one Klingon Maltz, one Klingon Torg, one Klingon Gunner, one Admiral James T. Kirk, one Mr. Spock. Also comes with a bottom plate, Planet Genesis with lava and tripod, one suspension device, 4 monitor discs, 2 disruptor guns, 2 swords, 2 communicators, 1 pistol, 1 electronic module, 1 flame large, 11 flames small, 3 trees, and 2 pairs of arm cuffs. We're going to talk about each of those things in a minute. Moving on to the electronic functions, though. There's an electronic module in the rear area with 4 buttons. The green button is power on and ambient mode. Black button is firing sequence. Silver button, Klingon exclamations in random order. And blue button, drive sounds and effects. There's a flap on the underside of the hull that covers the USB access. In continuous power mode, the ambient mode runs for 2 hours. After that, the bird of prey shuts down. I think that's a fantastic feature. I love that. I love the white noise, the ambient noise of a bird of prey or any starship. So that's a great function. I like that. So this has 4 different monitor discs for playing light and sound sequences. Graphic monitor number 1 is the USS Enterprise, which unfortunately is the Enterprise from Star Trek V, over the God Planet. Shakari. That's okay. Graphic monitor number 2 is Kirk in his civilian gear. I wonder if Klingon bastard, you killed my son will be on there for a toy. I somehow doubt it. Graphic monitor number 3 is the USS Grissom. Again, that's fantastic. I love that the Grissom is included on the monitor thing. It'll be interesting to see exactly what the sound effect is for that. Probably him yelling to target their engine only. Again, it'll be interesting to see what clips they use. So, graphic monitor number 4 is the Genesis device, which is a nice little added feature as well. That's the one that I couldn't remember. So the Genesis device is included, the schematics of it. So there you go. Now we're going to take a look at each of these and kind of discuss what I'm seeing, what I'm looking at, and what you guys can expect. So first off, we got a picture of the bird of prey from underneath here, and it's got the firing missiles out of the disruptor cannons. I guess that's what they mean by working cannons. I was concerned that they had an actual working disruptor, and it would kids would be like shooting their brothers and sisters with an actual disruptor cannon. However, they are just missiles that go in the guns. I don't know how I feel about that necessarily. It's kind of a neat feature. They are colored black for some reason. I think they should probably be like a green, like a disruptor, but that's alright. You can see where some of the light is emitted. It's emitted through that front torpedo launcher there, as well as the back engines. And overall, it looks pretty good. Shorter neck than an actual bird of prey, so it's got those Playmobil dimensions, which is fine. And a little bit of a chunkier head, or at least the rear part of the head is a little bit chunkier there. But overall, looks pretty good, I gotta say. Next up, we've got the box. And the box looks great. You got the different flight configurations down there in the lower left, which is nice. I prefer the bird of prey, honestly, in the flight configuration or the landing configuration. So either wings straight out or up, as opposed to the attack or cruising configuration with them down, which is the standard that you see the bird of prey at most times. So I do like that those are included. You got a picture of all the characters there on the front of the box as well, and it's got the new Star Trek Universe logo on the box. So the box looks pretty standard, and looks fairly good. Now, before we get into some of the other photos, I want to kind of take a look at the accessories. Here we have all the accessories and all the figures that come with it. We got Kirk and Spock, which I was excited to hear. I thought, oh my god, we're going to get a Playmobil figure of Kirk and or Spock in the Monster Maroon. That's when I first heard about this. And the answer is no. This is based on Star Trek 3, so unfortunately Kirk's wearing a civilian garb and Spock is wearing his robe, which is fine. It's not a big deal. So that's cool. There you go. Then you got the whole Klingon crew. You got Mulch, you got Crew, you got Torg, and other guy. Yeah. Down there on the left you see the monitor displays. We've got Kirk in his civilian gear, but he's got like TOS monitors behind him, which makes me go, what? It's alright. They didn't know the difference, I guess. Like I said, we got the Enterprise from Star Trek 5 above the God Planet. Got a beautiful shot of the Grissom there. The Grissom looks great in that shot, actually. And lastly, number 4, we got the Genesis device schematics. Looking pretty good, I gotta say. We got the stands there, the clear stands. We got the missiles. We got the 3 trees, which are just like 3 sticks, which is fine, I guess. We got a Klingon logo, which is the hanging device. It comes with like plastic. Well, they're more like, yeah, they're like a tough plastic string to weave in there and hang it from the ceiling. So yeah, I mean, the hanging option is nice for these. We got the 2 Klingon swords, which they said were swords. They're not swords. Those are Klingon daggers, but they're included there. We got a disruptor, 2 Klingon communicators, which look very cool. I gotta admit, the communicators and the disruptor are awesome looking. We've got the base right there with the fire, as you can see. So here's the ship on the stand. You can see it's set up like the Genesis planet. You can see the trees, the fire, the flames. You could put the figures down there, which is nice. There is the option also to have one of the rocks lift up and you slide the extra monitor displays in there to store. Again, that's a very nice feature, very cool. And there's another shot of the display stand from the top. I don't know why they have it angled that way and not the correct Klingon, emblem way, but there it is. It is in the shape of a Klingon symbol, which is a nice little feature. And there you can also see it hanging by the attached hanger, which also has the Klingon emblem, which looks very cool, actually. I gotta admit, that looks really nice. So good job for that. Here's a shot of the cockpit or bridge area with the roof off and one of the monitor display things in the slot. It looks good. I mean, it's apparently can fit 2 figures in there. I find that hard to believe with the way that looks, but apparently it is an adjustable seat. So there you have that. I mean, Playmobil, and that's fine too. Here's a shot of it from the front with the 3 different flight configurations. And again, I gotta say, the straight out or landing sequence, I prefer the look of that, honestly, to the attack formation, but that's just me. But it's awesome that you get that choice. I don't know if they move independently from each other or if it's... They probably do, honestly. The Diamond Select one does, but they might move in conjunction, but I really doubt that. I don't think the mechanism would be in there for that, so there you have that. This picture seems to be missing a disruptor cannon, but other than that, great picture. And there you can see the 4 buttons on the back that activate all the sounds. So there you go. And then the TOS Enterprise one, they're in the engineering bay, and the bridge, they're actually all internal, which is nice. So, but here they're on the outside, and again, that's fine. The only thing that opens up on this is the bridge, so you don't get an engineering section or anything like that. It'd be funny if you could lift that off and there'd be little whales that they put in there, but we don't have that, unfortunately. Now, nowhere on the site does it have the size or the dimensions of this thing, so I'm not sure exactly how big it is. I assume it's probably about the size of the saucer of the TOS one. I mean, the TOS Enterprise from Playmobil is about 32 to 34 inches long. It's a big boy. This one I assume is a little bit smaller just because it's only 2 figures that you can fit in there. So, yeah, I'm thinking the size of the saucer, which honestly, when it comes to judging price, I mean, $300 US. You're paying for the Playmobil name, unfortunately, like you do with a lot of things. You're paying for a brand name. I think they're way more in the ballpark with this, as opposed to the Enterprise, which was twice this price. I think they might have learned their lesson that the Enterprise was a little overpriced, but it still seems a little just too much out of the realm of what it should be. I think it should still be $100 less. I think for $200 or even $250 would be a better price point than $300. And then to bump that up to $400 Canadian, I don't know how I feel about that. I'd like to know what sound clips are in it. We got the ambient noise, we got the warp effect, we got firing, probably molts, and then he fires. But I don't know. I wish the website had the dimensions. I wish the website had more of what the audio clips are instead of leaving it kind of vague. However, it's not that big of a deal, honestly. I think the price point's a lot closer to what it should be than the Enterprise was. And I think, yeah, it's probably worth it. It might just be a little bit out of a few people's price ranges, but even the way it's sculpted, it feels more... It feels like it looks better than the Enterprise did. The Enterprise looked great if it's sitting on a low table. Like, it looks proportionally great. Once you put it on something that's eye level, like a shelf that's eye level, it just, the bottom of the saucer, because they had to get the bridge in there, just looks awful. So it kind of took me out of the collector realm for that a little bit. But, you know, that's up to you guys to determine that. So I'm going to say it's slightly out of the price range, but I'm glad that they kind of dropped this down. Just in cost alone, like the size doesn't have to be as big as the TOS Enterprise. I don't know if it's scaled correctly to the TOS Enterprise. If it's the size of the saucer, that's pretty accurate. So we'll have to see. But there you have it, guys. That is my look at the Playmobil Klingon Bird of Prey. And I just want to know your thoughts. So please comment down below. Is there something that you wish was different accessory-wise? We didn't look at the Klingon handcuffs because they're not shown on with the accessories here. But yeah, I want to hear your thoughts on this, guys. What do you think? Will you be getting this? Is this something that you're interested in? What do you think of the price point? Is it too much? How do you feel about Playmobil? What other options would you like to see from them? I would have loved to have seen a D7, even if the D7 was the same scale as the TOS Enterprise, but for this price, yes, please. You could have had 2 figures in the head of that thing, and room in the engineering section as well for some more figures. So what do you guys think? They're going for iconicness, they're going for recognition. The Bird of Prey is an iconic and very recognizable sci-fi spacecraft, and one of the most famous in all of sci-fi. So I think they're doing a good choice with this one. But what would you like to have seen? What would you like to be different? Please comment down below. Please like the video. Subscribe to the channels, both the Captain Foley personal channel and the Trekyards channel, and check out other videos by me. I'll probably link a video to the Playmobil Enterprise final review right here, so you guys can check that out. And until next time, I'm Captain Foley. Live long and prosper, everybody.